Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first pre-recorded #Badge Chat show and tell, kicking off our 2019-2020 school year Badge Chat series. We are joined this month by Paul Huggins of Beaufort, North Carolina Public Schools. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Noah. I'm telling you, it's an awesome thing to be able to do this live. It's really, it seems like it's complicated, though it's not, but it becomes complicated. So it's crazy.
Well, part of that is mostly the user error of your host. For folks who
I don't think
don't know,
so.
this is my first time using Zoom to record these, where you're dealing with this brand new world in which YouTube does not let us use our old school tools in order to do a live stream. So here we are. Hopefully it's going to work. We'll post this to YouTube as soon as we're done, as long as it's
Awesome.
not terrible. So if you're seeing it, you know that we judge this to be not terrible. Paul, let's jump right in here. And before you kind of dive in and actually like screen share and tell us all about your badges, maybe just kind of let us know a little bit of the lay of the land of who you are and just maybe just a little bit about Beaufort Public Schools.
Yes. Well, I'm an instructional technology director for Beaufort County Schools, and I do oversee the integration of technology in the classroom, working closely with the curriculum department. We are a rural county in eastern North Carolina. We have a geographical anomaly, which we are split by a river coming right through our county. So from the north side to the south side, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes, 10 minutes to drive around, or it could take a ferry in about 30 minutes. So we are detached from each other, although we are still connected.
Which, as an instructional technologist, I guess gives you chances all day, every day to make great analogies about
Oh
flattening
yes.
our world and
Oh
connecting
yes.
kids.
Exactly. I can tell you, things that I can compare things from north side to south side, and bring things from one side of the county to the other that just makes astronomical gains when it comes to instructional tech and curriculum.
Perfect. And as rural as Beaufort is, it's also home to some high-tech stuff, right? Isn't the Duke Marine Lab in Beaufort, North Carolina?
Duke Marine Lab?
Maybe I'm making stuff
You're,
up again.
oh, okay. Nope, you're not making it up. You're thinking of Beaufort, North Carolina. The city of Beaufort is not in Washington. I mean, in Beaufort County. The city of Washington is not in Washington County. So it's like Beaufort County is a rural county in eastern North Carolina. Beaufort City is a coastal town in Carteret County.
This is
It's
evidence of
crazy. It's
why my
crazy.
ninth grade geography teacher said that I
No,
didn't
no.
deserve my grade. Uh,
Absolutely, it's not anything with geography. It's how we crazily name things around here.
Well, I appreciate your patience with me as I kind of wrap my head around the geography of Eastern North Carolina, Paul. And so you've been doing some stuff that I think is really great, especially because as lots of people are kind of just still figuring out how to get started, you're actually kind of already getting to a slightly more mature place in your digital badge
I hope
credential
so.
journey. So maybe just kind of help us understand just the beginnings of just how you all got on the digital badge credential journey and where
Sure.
you are now.
Sure. About 4.5 years ago, our chief academic officer and myself were thinking about what is a way we can allow teachers to earn credit and for their professional development, and to also display those accomplishments to their fellow teachers and staff. And we wanted some way that would be portable, some way that would be digital, adaptable to the changing times. And digital badging was something we looked into, which we thought was, hey, this is new to us, and maybe new at the time to everybody else. And we began to research this medium because it was a medium that was very different 4.5 years ago than it is today.
Absolutely, 100% different. Although what hasn't changed is his Twitter handle. If you want to follow Paul, he's at Devem, Devem, like develop those kids, at Devem. So Paul, you started on this journey saying, how can we credential teachers in meaningful ways? You got on digital badges, and I understand that you all do already have a website going. Maybe you wouldn't mind screen sharing with us and
Sure.
giving us just a little bit of the tour of what all you're up to.
Absolutely. Noah, let me screen share here. And how does that look?
Looks great seeing the Narissa of North Carolina credentials.
NERISA, that is the yes, NERISA is our Northeast Regional Education Association. A little bit more of the background about it was late one night we were working and my chief academic officer and myself and several others, probably around 5 p.m. And we were doing research on companies and trying to find a company that we could do with. And we did a research on a company called Credly. And we called that company. A person answered the phone. Later, I found out it was John Warber, the owner of the company, that answered the phone. And we explained our situation, that we were looking for a way how to honor our teachers and showcase teachers to learn how they were growing and learning. And we wanted to show, most of all, that they were continual learners, so we could show their students that the teachers were continual learners like the students need to be. And so we told him about the economics of Beaufort County, et cetera, rural population split and all. And he told me, he said, call me back. He gave me his home number or cell number, and he told me to call him back at about, later that evening. He had a meeting to go to. And I called him back, and he listened to our situation, and he said, hey, Paul, he said, look, we need to get in North Carolina, and we'll give you a 5-year in-kind grant with a little skin in the game for yourself. We had to pay up. And we've been using it, and we've now expanded into 8 counties, 8 districts in our region. And all of these school districts are now issuing badges on the Beaufort County model. And we're extremely excited that these teachers are getting recognized for their accomplishments in a digital medium. No, it's just an awesome thing.
That is awesome. I think there's definitely lessons there that folks should definitely make human contact when you're exploring vendor relationships, because the price on the website might not be the price you end up paying. And also, if you're looking at Paul's screen here, and thinking this doesn't look like the Credly that I know, that is because they for their kind of actually gotten a white labeled version, it looks like. So when their students log in, they're not seeing Credly except in the URL at the top. They're seeing their
Exactly.
school and their teachers, I guess in this case, they're seeing the Beaufort County Schools version of Credly, which is going to work just like the Credly you know and love. It's just going to be white labeled specific to your organization. So maybe you could kind of share with us then some of the kind of credentials that teachers are able to earn and that you're able to issue. And
Yeah.
look at this, I'm seeing some other questions I'm going to have come up in a moment.
Okay, sure. As you can see here on the right, upper right, we see the counties that are currently using the Beaufort County model. You see Pitt County Schools over there, and Dare County over there. But just look at the amount of badges that have been issued and created from our 8 regions is just an amazing. We have over 1,000 badges that have been created from everything from GarageBand to Google and any kind of Apple teacher recognition, web accessibility for.
And Paul, you're saying, just a clarifying question, you're saying not just 1,000 badges issued, you have over 1,000 badges created.
Oh yeah, over 1,000 badges created between the 8 systems. We ourselves have over 750 badges. So it's just an amazing thing that we've done here with all these badges, different mediums and everything.
And so just saying, as you're scrolling through these, there's just a huge amount of stuff. Some of it looks like it's training for specific technologies. Some of it looks like you're credentialing their learning for both in-person and virtual conference attendances. So tell us how that works.
Exactly. Well, if they present the certificate that they attended the conference and the hours that are on it, we will issue a badge to show that for the district so they can show and carry it with them in a portable medium that they have. Back in the old days, Noah, we used to go to a specific training, and then we would get the certificate, the paper certificate. And but now the digital medium is much more better. It's portable. They can take it anywhere, no matter where they go in the world, and they can show that, because inevitably when HR gives your credentials for relicensing, they are going to maybe lose something. This will be a way to back up that system. They always told me to make sure you give one to HR and you keep one for yourself when you're trying to license. And so this is the way we do it. On the screen right now, do you see the digital tracker?
We sure do.
The tracker is awarded if you earn 10 badges in our district, and it goes to Mountaineer from that for 20, and for 30 you get the Summiter badges. So you get awarded for more. The more badges you get, the more recognition you get on that. That's what I want to show you too.
So in a sense, you've actually created a kind of nano, micro, macro leveling system.
Yes, yes. So every badge that we issue, whether it's Apple Clips, as you see here, or well, those is learning competencies. Uh, what they can do is a teacher can use that in they get the professional development from me or one of our staff. They get the issue of the badge for the initial professional development, and then they can take that what they learn, take it into the classroom, and they'll get a level 2 of the badge. If they present to their staff, they get a level 3 of the badge, and so it is all tiered. So it's all designed so the teacher will learn more, research more, and present as a professional when it comes to their professional development.
So do I hear you saying, Paul, that the kind of nano level is seeing it and acquiring the knowledge, the micro level, level two is actually enacting it yourself, and your third level up is that you know well enough to actually teach it to your peers, so, and you're helping to build out district capacity so they don't all have to get FaceTime with you in order to learn.
Exactly. So it gives the teachers a voice and a choice in what they're learning. So not only are they learning from us, they are able to research and do more in their classrooms. And once they present that in a form that we have, that is they submit the form of proof that did in a class, where it's a video or whether it's a picture or whatever, where they're showing it in a classroom, they can show student work. They'll get the level 2, and then if they do a presentation, like I said, they get the level 3.
Now, Paul, one of the things that I'm seeing on your badges is this badge is worth, and in digital badge credential land, we hear a lot about what is the value proposition. So, for the
Yes,
teacher who says, why should I care? It looks to me like you're putting front and center in the metadata of the badge exactly why they should care. Tell us about that.
exactly. In the state of North Carolina, we have something called digital learning competencies. So there's no longer any tech credit in our state for getting tech credit for attending a sit and get session. They actually have to learn a digital learning competency, which is a tech credit aligned to 4 standards. So each of digital citizenship or leadership or data and analysis or content. So they get all our PD is aligned to those standards. And once they get that standard, that's what the badge awards. And our teachers have to earn 20 hours of digital learning competencies to renew their license.
That's awesome. And another question I have is, with it being not a single institution, but actually shared amongst 8 organizations, I think that that's something that is worth touching on, because one of the major differences between, at least with most of our badge issuing vendor platforms, is between the free version and the enterprise version is, on a free version, I might be able to create all the badges I want and issue them, but I don't have this shared suite, like a shared library, I guess, of badges that I can issue and other people in my institution can issue. And with the enterprise versions, like what you have the ability to issue, and there's other approved folks who can issue this trusted, Beaufort County badge. But what I'm seeing that I think is relatively unique that I haven't seen anywhere else is that you have multiple 8 counties that are actually sharing this same
Badges.
suite, yeah, this same library of badges. So, maybe talk us through just what that looks like. Is there kind of right now just kind of playing around and seeing how it goes, or is there some sort of quality assurance to make sure that
Well,
that Elizabeth City's badge for that they're giving the same level of rigor, if you will, as they are in Hyde, Pitt, and Beaufort?
well, when it comes to credentials for digital learning, it of course in the state of North Carolina is up to the individual district. They have to vet the process, and so something that may be worth something in one district may not be worth something in another, or we may share it all. We have decided that our digital learning competencies through our badges will be worth the same throughout all 8 counties. So if Pitt County were to give a badge that would be worth zero point 0.5 digital credits, then we will honor that in Beaufort County as 5 digital credits. So we have a shared agreement that we're going to honor the professional development, professional learning for each district. Also, with the enterprise, they are able to issue badges, like you said, and I'm able to see them, but unless they give authority for me to issue them, I can't issue them. So if it's something that's in-house, that's in-house. If they give it out, they have to specifically say that that particular badge is a badge that can be issued across the NERISA itself, across the 8-county region.
Okay, so it's saying that the ability is there for you to have access to issuing badges from Pitt County, but there does need to be a handshake and a flipping
Exactly.
on of a light switch there for that to happen, which
Exactly, Noah.
I think that folks probably appreciate that degree of control, that as much as we want to trust everybody
Exactly.
that they're going to do it, that we like to kind of know it and not just inherently trust. And so it gives us a chance to sit down and say, hey, Paul, here's what this looks like for us. We're totally happy for you to give out our badge to your teachers. We just want you to sit in on one of our trains, maybe to see what it is we're doing, so that it means the same and it's apples to apples everywhere. Is that?
Absolutely.
And has that happened yet, or is that still kind of more in theory we could do this?
Well, yes and no. Every month or so, we meet, all of us as a region, and have discussions about digital learning. We do our training and some training together, some professional learning together. We have a once a year meeting that we have a leadership meeting. It's an ERISA leadership in which all the districts come together, and we talk shop and also give professional development and show best practices.
Awesome. And I realize it's really early days still, but I really think y'all are onto something here as we think about, at the higher ed, where they're talking now about, rebundling of entire courses and curriculum, and as we think about things such as, just really going granular and stackable with our credentials,
Love the stacking.
you guys might really be onto something, to where, maybe I missed the training in my district, but I have access to credentials that are being, going on in other districts. And I think that you all might be one of the early right answers to a question that most people haven't thought to ask yet, but that y'all are in your consortium are going to be leading the way on that. And Paul, if you want to stop sharing your screen just so everybody can see your face big and bright, a couple other questions go ahead.
Let me show you a couple of things first.
Yeah.
We transitioned from Credly to Acclaim now.
Oh, so you've made the switch. Okay.
We've made the switch, and we've switched over all our districts. So we still have access to Credly. I think that's going to be sundown later in 2020, maybe. I'm not sure. But we have access to Acclaim, which is a much cleaner interface in that. And when I'm issuing badges on that, it's just, the interface is so much better knowing this. Say I was doing professional learning, I would, issue it, and I could issue it through a CSV, which is awesome, and just send out all my badges at one time. Because when people sign in, they sign in through a form that I have here. This particular form, I got it set up for CSV.
Okay.
And so when they sign in, I just export it. There's my export material. I associate the badge with it, and it just issues all the badges at one time. It's just so much cleaner, and it's also more efficient. And my HR department loves me because I'm allowed to, they can just copy and paste and send credit instead of having to write out everybody's particular email by figuring out what it was by sign-in sheet.
Yeah, I think that's something you're hitting on there, going back to that notion of answering questions that a lot of people have not yet thought to ask. I think of a question that people are really wise to have at the forefront in their minds as they're building something out at scale, like Paul's doing it, is the notion of sustainability. And, where are you going to find opportunities to do things such as batch issue, to, make things machine readable, that can be, if there's certain things that need humanized, great, but something like transposing, like Paul said, a sign-in sheet versus just being able to copy and paste from a form data.
Yeah, we are completely paperless when it comes to professional learning.
Yeah, it's just not efficient to have people with master's degrees on salary retyping up from sign-in sheets.
Exactly.
When that could just as easily be a copy-paste situation.
In this day and age.
Absolutely.
One other thing I want to show you, Noah, is we were issuing badges for a couple of 3 years, and we found that teachers wanted to display what they've learned, and they wanted it on their doors or in their rooms. So we came up with the Beaufort County brag tag board in which they place their individual badges on here and place it on their door or on their room to show their students that they are continual learners, and to say if an individual has a Twitter badge that another teacher says, I'm not into Twitter, but I see that so-and-so has a Twitter badge, I'll go and ask them how to do it. So it starts conversations. And so basically we just issue the badges, and it's really easy. Whenever I get a badge, I simply copy that and paste it on the actual document. And once I get what I want on there, I just print it, or I print them. And then our teachers came up with a great way. They laminate the board, they print the badges, use a glue stick, and put them on there. So we have a digital physical badge presence, which I think is really cool.
Well, I think what you're hitting on is something that's really important, and that's
Can I go to a regular screen now?
Absolutely. I think that, for folks who are watching Paul's screen there, we saw that, if you've seen things like a passport book for learning where you can go and get a stamp, that's, I think, really reminiscent of what Paul was just sharing. And that's they can see the silhouette outlines of where there could be badges displayed. And so it also creates a little bit of kind of incentive to fill it in. It also bridges the gap as we start to think about, as Paul said, what about the physical? That just because they're digital doesn't mean that they can't also be physical. And, as Paul said, one of the huge advantages of something that's physical is it's a conversation starter, whereas the digital, somebody would have to be saying, hey, go look at this. With the physical, it's just on my door. And
here's what I earned.
Tell us some.
Look at it.
Yeah, do you have any just specific stories that you can share about that?
Well, what we did was we started out with just, I have a group of fantastic teachers that meet with me once a month. They're the media coordinators / instructional technology leaders in their school. And so we go about doing training every month. They take that training to their schools, and they come back and give me feedback on that. Well, I started a pilot program last year in which I gave the ITLs, which I call them the instructional technology leaders, and their principals and their assistant principals brag tag boards and have them on their doors, and started conversations. And so they started getting requests. Well, why don't we have our brag tag boards? We've earned badges too. And so now they've issued out to the schools. And when they earn a badge, they get it either presented to them or they print it themselves to put it on. However they want to do it, it's up to them. But they're proud to display that particular badge that they won, and they were asking for it. So Noah, it's just something that I put it out there to see if there was interest, and there was an interest. So it was just a fantastic thing to show that teachers were continual learners, which is one thing that we emphasize here in Beaufort County Schools.
Well, not just teachers, but and if you have principals
administrators,
asking for professional development, and and they don't have a bunch of extra time for stuff.
Exactly.
It's not up to if they're requesting it that you're onto something. And I think that one of the other things that is so powerful that leapt out to me from your sharing of this work at Badge Summit is that with these brag tag boards, you're not only creating this opportunity for really just a physical world of recognition, celebration. You're also, from just a talent management and just sustainability and leveraging of our human capital, kind of point of view, you're creating this heat map up and down your hallways of talent, right?
Yes.
That if you can think of something as a principal, as a district leader, as an ILT that you think is of value in your learning community, and you can start to notice, name, and credential it, and then have up and down the hallways on teachers' doors, you have there, oh, look, this person's really good at making seat charts inside of Infinite Campus. This person's really good. And all of a sudden teachers know who to go to so that they don't have to wait to put in a ticket to the district offices. They all of a sudden realize my colleague down the hall in room 113,
that's what we wanted to do.
For me.
That's what we wanted to do. We want to be able to teachers talk amongst themselves, seek professional learning on their own level. Like that, our big push here is voice and choice for not only our students, but for our teachers. And it really works great. And an additional thing is our administrators are on a separate DLC digital learning competencies is that they need leadership competencies as an administrator. And so that's a whole different level of awarding credit for professional learning.
Fantastic stuff. And one thing we probably should point out, just in case people are wondering why they switched from credit to acclaim, they are related entities. I'm sure it had to do a lot more with features that they could get with acclaim than any
Exactly. Well, it's now
displeasure with
acclaimed.
Credly.
Yes, now it's acclaimed by Credly. So
Right.
yeah, they acquired them, and it's a much cleaner format. I went with over the summer. I did some professional development with Credly to move everything over to Acclaim. And
Makes a lot of sense. And, speaking of just changes, pivots, one of the things I'd love to just wrap up with us in the few remaining minutes
sure,
we have with you, Paul, is just lessons learned. I mean, there's not a lot of folks who've been doing this at scale as long as you have in Beaufort. And, I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that if you knew then what you know now, you
yeah,
could have saved yourself some really
exactly.
dark bruises and a bunch of band-aids and cleaning up the blood. So maybe if you could share one, two, three things that just little tidbits for other people who are, their arrows are just now leaving the quiver, in the bows. What advice can you give?
Well, one thing is you've got to sell your teachers on it first. We started. We had an envision that we would have teachers and students being credentialed, but it didn't work until your teachers are sold on it. Once your teachers are sold on it, then we can move on to something else. But once I sold the teachers, it was a train that just ran away. And it's not all teachers. You have to sell a group of teachers. Teacher leaders need to be sold first on this, and then they can take that back to their individual schools and show them with the value of having something that is cloud-based and portable, in which you don't have with a piece of paper that can get damaged or whatever. And plus, it's something they can show off.
Hmm.
The evolution of the brag tag board was just an extension of the digital medium, which was in a physical medium, placed in the digital medium, and then they wanted back a physical. They wanted both. And so and that's how that whole thing came about. But it's through a lot of trial and error. It worked with making badges. They got to look good. First of all, they like the style of them, how they look, and we have a certain style that we have. You probably saw all our badges look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Other counties had their badges looking a certain way too, so it was kind of a good dichotomy in how different badges can look at different districts. But yeah, get your teachers sold on it first. Get your admin sold on it. And after that, you will get that once that core group of leader teachers and that admin gets sold, they will sell it to the rest of the staff.
Love that. Any other? If we have time for one more lesson learned, any other cautionary tale, lesson learned you can share with us?
Well, a big thing is when I was making badges likable, the icon in the middle, I would not believe how important that is to teachers.
Say more about
They
that.
they didn't like that icon. It would not be a good badge. They wouldn't want that badge for some reason. But if it's a good icon, they like that. They would like, oh, I like that picture. I like that color scheme. Aesthetics is a really big thing when it comes to digital badging. And I didn't realize how much that was until teachers started looking at the badges themselves.
Anything specific that you could share around just what you've noticed works with teachers with who you lead and serve with?
Well, if you can get a color scheme that kind of goes with what you did that particular day. If I was doing Spiro robotics, I would go with the Spiro color scheme, the
Hmm.
blues. If I was doing personality training, I do personality training with a variant of True Colors. I'd put all the colors in the badge. If you were going to do, I do digital learning competencies as Legos, so I use all the primary colors with that. So it's just something, like I said, that the aesthetics is nice, then I'm telling you they like it.
Great tips, Paul. And other than following you at Devem, Devem on the Twitter,
Yeah,
anything
just hit
else?
that follow.
How else can people connect with you and see this work shared in North Carolina on the web?
Well, we're on Beaufort County Schools, North Carolina. If you just do a search for Beaufort County Schools, you'll get Beaufort, North Carolina, South Carolina, which is not us. We are Beaufort, North Carolina. Beaufort at k12.nc.us is our web address, and you can look under our departments. under my instructional technology page, which is under instructional services. And you will see several badges under there that our teachers can earn just by clicking there. So not only have I put the badges available through PD, they can also get it through our Canvas courses by clicking on the button. We have a voice and choice section of our Canvas, which is just made for teachers, that they can go in and choose what they want to specialize in or to get credit in and get a badge in.
Love that. And I think that, one of the things I'm hearing there is a third lesson learned that we should probably share, and that's just workflow and access. It sounds like you're not asking teachers to necessarily go into places that they're not already going. They're already in Canvas, and you all have used the Canvas plugins in order to meet teachers where they are, rather than adding one more thing to their plate. Well, Paul, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you for having me.
Well, no, I just thank you for being willing to share this amazing work that y'all are doing out there, because I really think that you are just really just so far ahead of the curve with tons of stuff
I don't know about that,
with us.
But we live to serve.
And hopefully our quality comes out good. I know that I picked a terrible place. I'm right here in the setting sun.
And it's getting dimmer and dimmer as the goes on. I'm in this blaring light. I don't know where this light beams are coming from, but that's where I'm at.
I chose, unfortunately, to sit right next to a window, and the ice has been melting from our blizzard that we had this morning, and the sun's setting on.
Oh my God. It was 84 degrees here yesterday.
So
it was 84 degrees here yesterday, Noah.
I'm jealous. It was 19 degrees here.
Oh my gosh.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. We are at #BadgeChat. You can always find us here. Also, #BadgeSummit. And we're definitely making an effort to build out the Badge Summit community on Facebook so that it lives not just once a year in June, but also, throughout the year as a community. So definitely a place to connect there. And just thank you, everybody, for your interest. And Paul, thank you so much for your time.
Anytime. Take care, Noah.
Bye-bye.